Hi, good evening, everyone, and welcome to this live session by Navigro. I am Kavish Javeri, and in today's session, we'll be studying the market environment. And with this, you will get an understanding of how to read market breadth. Not just that, we'll also scan some stocks and understand the structures of stocks, that we see in the current market. So the objective of this session is to help you understand how to read breadth with some very simple tools that are freely available. Also, to help you understand what to look for in stocks while you are scanning and how to make your scanning process efficient. So without wasting any time, we'll just start with market environment. So what you see on the screen is the chart of mid small cap 400 index. So April has been a very volatile month. And if you see, we gap down big on the 7th of April in all the major indices. I personally track these four index, that is Nifty 50, Nifty 500, small cap 100 and mid small 400. So if you see all these indices, they moved on an average 15 to 18% right from the bottom. Small cap index moved 21% from the bottom. So whoever I talk to, especially the new traders, they all have this FOMO and they curse themselves that they missed out this rally. But trust me, no one has missed. There's nothing to miss here. Reason being, see, most of the stocks that participated in this rally moved right from the bottom. Because of this correction that you see, most of the stocks had corrected 30-40% from the peak that we had in September, October last year. So all the stocks had, all the stocks were beaten down. And the kind of stocks that we trade as swing traders, that is, stocks with a lot of linearity and momentum and in a good trend, they were missing here. And I'll show you why they were missing here. If you see on the screen, I have these two indicators that are freely available, on TradingView. See, most of the stocks that participated in this rally, they were not making new 52-week highs. So what this indicator is telling you, it's telling you how many stocks are making net new highs. So not many stocks were making new 52-week high, which is not a good sign for someone who believes in trend, linearity, and momentum. Not just that, if you see this white line on the screen, this tells you the number of stocks, the percentage of stocks above their 200 DMA. So just see, there were less than 50% stocks which were above their 200-day moving average. Again, not a very good sign. And I'll tell you why. If you see, this is the Nifty 500 chart, and I have annotated all the breakouts that happened, on each day. If you see, there were so many breakouts happening when there were new 52-week highs. Not just that, when most of the stocks were above their 200 DMA, you could see a lot of breakouts, not just here, but here as well, after the 2020 crash. But when the market crashed in 2019 2020, you could see a lot of stocks making new 52-week lows. So this just shows you that these two things really work in the market, that is the new 52-week high and stocks above their 200 DMA. Now currently, all while the stock, the indices were rallying, they moved 15-20%. None of the stocks really participated. These were bottom bounces. And because of this, you could not find much stocks to trade. But for a new trader, who's someone new into the markets, they were trading all these stocks which were very choppy and which were not smooth movers. When we get to the scanning part, I'll show you that why stocks that participated in this rally were choppy and what exactly a winner looks like. We'll get to that. But for now, the bias that I personally had and the members at Navigro had was that this rally is not very strong. So we were waiting for the first pullback. Now, what happened was, while we were pulling back, we had this negative trigger day. So this is an indicator that we use, which helps us, identify possible tops and reversal points. So if you see Nifty ka chart, this was in September. That is, September. What's the date? I think it's 30th of September. Yes. So on 30th of September, we got this negative trigger day, and this happened to be the top of Nifty. Not just that, while we were in, April, this was the day of negative trigger, and we were well in cash a day before that. So then Nifty gapped down, I think, 6-7% on that morning. Again, we saw the same sign in all the indices, that is Nifty mid small 400 on 25th April, small cap maybe wahi same sign tha on 25th April. So this just added to our conviction that this is a possible top. And while I'm explaining this, this was a primary reason we shorted Nifty. So there's this concept by William O'Neill. I've shared this on Twitter as well, that is a classic topping and reversal sign. So this is what we observed in Nifty. So the volume was rising whenever the index fell, and this negative triggered it. This just added to our conviction. And on 6th of May, we shot. This was a short trigger which was shared live in the group, and this put that was shared. I think it moved from 350 to 650. So it almost doubled. So that was the reason behind taking this short trade. But talking about the environment, these two primary indicators, these are not technical indicators. This is just a way to track the underlying breadth. That is the individual stocks. So the stocks individually were not performing. There were no 52-week highs, and the 200-day the day moving average, not many stocks were above it. So see, these two indicators, they help us understand what the underlying market is telling us. Not just this, we also track individual breakouts. So you can maintain a list of stocks that break out according to your trading plan. So let's say two, three stocks break out, you keep them in a watch list and you track how they follow through. So if you were to do that while we were moving up, you could not find many stocks moving up, in a smooth uptrend. They broke out and उसमें कोई follow through ही नहीं था. And in the later stages, it was a pop, and later that day, it just reversed, gave back all the gains. So because of all this, it just helped us stay in cash. This is something that you can use. So three things: just track the breakouts. If stocks are breaking out, are they following through? So that is the primary indicator. Along with that, you can track these two things. That is stocks making new 52-week high. It is an indicator freely available. I'll share it in the group. And stocks above their 200-day moving average. So it shows you the longer term picture of the market. Now coming to the structures. See, this is what we are seeing right now. This is the current scenario in most of the stocks. So just imagine this is the weekly chart of a stock. These two are the weekly charts. So we have seen a good downtrend in individual stocks. Most of the stocks are down 30-40% from the peak. Many stocks are. So if we are just scanning for stocks in the 25% range of 52-week high, most of the structures would look like this. Now, if you remember, there was a stock called Isuzu. Even it had a good VCP on the daily scale, but most people, everyone missed the longer term picture. So that is why you see the weekly chart. That is what I am trying to tell you here, that whenever you're looking at structures, longer term structures, try to switch to a weekly frame and see where the stock is, at that point in the price cycle. Right now, whenever we start scanning, you will see that most of the stocks are here. उनमें एक range बन रही है, and because of this range you'd see that they're forming VCPs, and just seeing that daily frame, we start to buy them. अब उससे होता क्या है, we get trapped because the structure is not ready time wise. Just see, is this ready? I'll show you some winners, and you'll know that whatever chart you see in the market right now, it's not ready for a bull swing. What we want to see is this. We are currently, here. If you We are somewhere around this point wherein we have seen a up move in the stock right from the bottom, but we have not seen enough time correction. We are still too early into the swing. We want a proper base, because if you are moving right from the bottom, we don't want a 2-3 week ka base. We want at least 6 to 8 week ka base, or at least a 4 week base which is ready. And all this takes time. But because we are so used to buying random VCPs, we see a stock move up on daily frame, it's forming a VCP, something like this, and we buy it. That is what we have a bad habit of. But this is not enough. Right now, most of the stocks have moved from the peak, and there's some, not a correct picture, I'll redraw it for you. They're somewhere here, you know, and you see a 3T VCP or a cup and handle on the at the bottom, and you start buying it because the wrong habit that we are building here is, इस market में तो यही मिलेगा, यही trade कर लेते हैं. But see, we are preparing for a good market, and see, it will eventually come. Every bear market ends and it starts a new bull market. So we have to wait for the right structures. And to study the right structures, you have to shift to the weekly frame. And I'll prove my point when we study the individual stocks. So we want this kind of structure wherein the stock is well rested. It has gone through enough time correction. it has some shakeouts within the base, it has a fake breakout. That is what we want to see. And the ideal scenario, this is the ideal scenario. The stock has been rallying for months and then it forms a good base. And as swing traders, we are looking to capture the next leg up. So this is why if you go and study any big winner, it will not start its up move below the 200-day moving average. It will not start its big move below, its 50-day moving average. That is the reason I study this on this indicator, that is the number of stocks above their 200-day moving average. And I can share so many examples. If you just see this, in 2023, most of the stocks started moving up. They started making new, net new highs, and 50% of the stocks in the market were above their 200-day moving average. So this is a very obvious sign. It is so obvious that you just have to wait for it. Right now, since the beginning of this calendar year, we have not seen stocks above their 200-day moving average. So for now, it's a wait and watch. But the structures are showing up. It's just that we as traders are not patient. हमें patience नहीं है to wait for the right structures to emerge. And see, because most of the stocks are forming a range, they are tight. Most of the new traders, they're just buying tightness. They are missing out the point of the whole structure. And to study breadth, you just need three things. First, stocks above 50 and 200 EMA, SMA, whatever you use, it does not matter. Just stay consistent with one thing. So you want stocks to be above their long-term moving averages. See, this is an excuse that most swing traders give to themselves, that I am a short-term trader, I don't need this. See, as a trader, you need trend. You need to obey trend. You need to follow trend to make money. You need stocks to make new 52-week high, because that is what has happened in history and it will repeat. You go and study any winner, it will have this character. Then you must study action of individual stocks. How do you do that? You go and see what which stocks have broken out on a particular day. And breakout random नहीं होना चाहिए कि कुछ भी stock 3-4% move किया, you just add it to the watch list. No, whatever type of setup pattern you trade, just see if a stock has broken out of that setup, add it to a breakout watch list, track it for a couple of days. It will tell you, it will show you if stocks are following through. Now, why do we do that? See, as swing traders, as short-term momentum traders, we need linearity. That is stocks bouncing off the 10-20 moving average, having a smooth trend. Now, with linearity, we also need momentum. See, if a stock moves 40% in 100 days, that is not something that I, as a swing trader, would prefer. I want stocks moving 25-30% in a matter of, let's say 7 to 10 days. That happens. In 7 to 10 days, some stocks even move 40% in a good market. That is what I want to see. So if your stock, if it has broken out of a structure or a setup, it needs to follow through. That is when you will get worth for your money that is invested in a stock. That is first. Then you need to see if the breakout on a particular day is sustaining or not. Many a times we see stocks breaking out in the first half, but eventually end of day they fizzle out. So I have shared this scanner, that is the 3% intraday scanner on Twitter. You can check it in the highlights. So that if you run it 3 times a day on on separate intervals, I've shared how to use it. So you will understand how the stocks are behaving. So that is something I used to study, stocks on an intraday basis to study the breakout day. Then add it to the breakout list, study the follow through. If you get a good feedback from majority of the stock, then it is a good environment. You combine it with the two factors that we just discussed. That is how you study market breadth. Now, see, this is just a guideline. You also need to have a clear understanding of where we are in the price cycle. That is where we are structurally present. Like I just showed you, it won't matter if the index is above its 10-day, 20-day moving average if the structures that we see are somewhere here. It won't matter. We have to wait in any case. So what most people do is now, they this is a common mistake. उनको लगता है that if the index is above its 20 moving average, it's a good environment. See, this is a hindsight bias. अगर आप जाके देखोगे, you'll see that index is above its 10 or 20 day whenever we have a good run. But you have to study individual stocks. अगर आप individual stocks को neglect कर दोगे, then the whole plan, the whole structure goes for a toss. So to get better at that, I have some tips for you for better scanning. Every weekend, whatever watch list you have, let's say you can just use one scan, that is stocks within the percentage of 25 of their 52-week high. Just go through every stock on the weekly time frame. It will give you a very clear picture of where the stock is in the price cycle. And to top it, इससे पहले if you study the past winners, your eye will be trained in such a way that you can spot any winner because you will have a clear understanding what to look for. See, as a trader, even as a swing trader, you need long term structures. अगर long term structures नहीं होंगे तो जो short term मूव आपको कैप्चर करना है वो कैसे प्ले आउट होगा? Because in a big trend, we are just here to capture a small piece of the move. But the keyword here is we need a trend for that small move event. So go through the weekly time frame chart on every weekend. Even if you do this once every week, you'll have a clear understanding where we are in the price cycle. Then use that watch list, scan that list and make a watch list of stocks, and you can track themes and sectors with this. Because you're tracking a long term chart, you'll know that where the individual stocks of a theme or a sector are placed, because आपको day to day up down movement का कोई it won't matter to you. You will just wait for the right structures to emerge. Now, third, context is always, it's always more important than a random pattern. I'll show you why. I don't know if you guys remember, but a lot of people were talking about this stock on Twitter. See, I think I even shared this on Twitter before it broke out, that this is a terrible structure. Just go and see any winner. They never move like this. See, it fell so much, and in 1 week, most people consider this strength, but in a week it moved 50%. Where's the digestion period? But most people were obsessed, the right word, about this VCP or this contraction. Again, this is a clean looking contraction if you ignore the trend. Where are we in the trend? We are so down. This is not a good structure. This is something that you have to avoid at all cost. So this is what I'm trying to say. If you understand the longer term structures, you'll always benefit and avoid these random patterns. These are not setups. You always need context. Then comes smooth and fast movers. Now, again, this is something that many people see. People can have different opinions about this, but for me, I'm just talking about myself here. If you go and study the charts, the winners that have moved very fast and linear charts, you will see that they don't wait around. So linearity is basically a smooth moving stock, a stock respecting its 10-day, 20-day moving average, just for an example, and it's obeying its trend, moving smoothly. But along with that, you also need a stock that moves fast. So just for an example, let's say you buy a stock and in 10 days it has just moved 10%, because it's linear, it's bouncing after every move, it's bouncing off the 10-day, 20-day. So that is a stock that I would personally avoid. Like I can show you some examples. I, India Shelter, one example. See, this is a linear stock. It is respecting its short-term key moving average. But is this a fast mover? No. You see Avas. Is this a fast mover? No. Whenever it moves 2-3% in a day. It's not a fast mover. It may be a linear stock. Chambal. Is this a fast moving stock? No. Go to the weekly frame. Whenever it moves for a week. So it has a bad character. Even though in a bad market, it moved almost 30-35%. Good for this stock, good for the people who bought it. But is this a fast mover? No. It moves one day, then rests. Then it moves, it goes sideways for 5-6 days. Whenever it moves with very small candles. It's not a fast mover. Deepak, it broke out. What's the point of getting a 12-15% move in 5-6 days? Some people might say, इस market में तो बहुत अच्छा है, but यार, I'm not preparing for this market. I'm preparing for the next big run. And everyone should. So we have to avoid such stocks at all cost, which may seem linear, but they have no momentum. So these are some tips, while you're scanning, you must look at all of this. And it's very important to understand. I'll just give you one exercise. You can do this. It's a Sunday tomorrow. You'll have some free time. So just go through all the winners whenever whenever we were hitting new 52-week highs, or go through the winners that broke out when majority of the stocks were above their 200-day moving average. You'll never trade stocks when the broader market is below the 200-day. So you'll understand that the big money is made when the entire market is moving. One or two stocks cannot drive the market higher. So these are some guidelines for you. We'll go through some charts now. And before that, before actually studying charts, I'll show you some winners. Okay. So in 1996, this is the weekly chart, huh? 1996. So just see. And right now, I won't tell you, just right now, I won't. Rahul has asked, see, sector identification, whenever you scan for stocks and you see a particular stock moving up, if it's moving up very fast, you go and see, you'll see the sector and the industry group. Just see what the other sectors, what the other stocks of the same sector or the theme are doing. Like right now, if you see Paras, if someone had missed tracking the defense theme, if you just see how fast Paras move, you can just go through all the drone manufacturers or the stocks related to the defense theme. So you will get an understanding of what exactly is moving. That is how you track themes. So just uh, just go through this chart. Just see what has happened. It moved up. It went sideways for a couple of months, then again started its up move. Just visualize this chart. We'll get back to these charts after we have studied after we have scanned all other charts. So 1999. So this was an IPO. See how good the up move was. Then it started to consolidate. Again, this is a weekly chart. This is not a daily chart. Then in 2014, we just quickly scroll through them so that we can actually scan the stocks that are forming these structures right now. So just see, just like I showed you in this drawing, that the stock had fallen a lot, then it started moving from bottom. Now you see, many people would get excited right after these 2 days because it is forming three tight closes, and this is a pattern popularized on Twitter. So many people would start, talking about this stock. But the correct structure emerged or formed in a couple of weeks. It took time. It took almost 6 weeks to form this structure. It did not form in a day or two. Then it continued its trajectory, upward trajectory. And this is what linearity is. It's not falling too much, it's respecting a moving average, and it continues its up move. See, it moved 150% in 26 weeks. Good move. Then in 2017, BEPL, just see this chart. It broke out of a long term range and started to move up. It took time. It took six to 7 weeks to form a proper base, and then it continued. In 2019, we saw Adani Green. So it formed a base. It did not just move up and kept on moving up. It formed a clean base that we saw on daily and the weekly frame. This is the weekly frame, and it continued its upward trajectory. 2022, Elecon, if you see how clean this chart looks, ना जब भी मूव किया है, it breaks out of a clean base. Now, many of you would say, ये तो bull market में हुआ था, everything was going up. See, we are preparing for a bull market. Whoever says that ये once in a lifetime opportunity थी, this won't repeat. See, ये पहले भी हो चुका है. This happened in 2014, 16, 2000, somewhere in 2020, 2021, 2023, 2024. So maybe in 2026 or 27, we might see another run. So this happens as long as you wait for it. If you buy random stocks, you will take a lot of hits. You will be in a drawdown, and whenever a good run comes, you will miss out on all such stocks. So right now, just picturize how clean this chart looks. Masdog, most of us know about this stock. Most of us have this in our model book. This is what a true winner looks like. Then Cochin in 2023, this is what you have to look for. And the reason I'm scrolling through all these charts quickly is because I want you to take a mental picture of all these charts. I don't want you to over analyze this. This is what you have to look for. एक glance में नहीं दिखा, then you need a lot more training. Just see, Hutco in 2023, a clean mover. Whenever it moves, in a very smooth trend. It's not a choppy stock like, we saw Chambal and all those other stocks. Zentech, a big mover. IRFC, it did not move. See, many people, they just track these tight closes and they randomly buy tight closes. या tight close यहाँ पे भी था, tight close यहाँ पे भी था. But you have to wait for the right structure, and I'll show you when we scan through stocks what exactly to look for. Lloyd Engineering. See, a big mover. It takes its time to make a good clean base. It's not just moving from a random pivot. See, like if you see here on in this week, it was a tight close. And many of you would be tracking this stock on daily as well because it was in a range and you could have bought it. But just see, even though it moved 40% in the next 2 3 weeks, but is this the correct structure that you saw in all the other winners? No, they took their time. They formed a base of at least 4 to 6 weeks. उससे छोटे bases तभी बनते हैं when we have already broken out of a big base. RVNL. See, do you see that one week वाले basis है ही नहीं. All of them took their time. These long term structures, they take time to develop, and these big moves, they emerge out of these long term structures. TCBL, again, see, it moved in 2023. It again moved in 2024. The same thing. It moved in 2017 as well. This happened in BEPL. So there's nothing new. It has happened in the past. It will happen in the future. But as new traders, we are impatient and we randomly rely on patterns rather than proper structures. So take a mental picture of all these structures. And if you see it in a stock while we scan, you stop me and tell me, yes, we saw a structure like this in, let's say, Cochin, Zentech, or any stock that we discuss right now. This is a IPO, Exicom. Again, this happened in ABREL, that is Aditya Birla Real Estate, in 1999. See, it moved from the bottom, formed a 4 week base. Similarly, if you see in Exicom, it fell, moved up, formed a base, and then again moved. Yes, Rahul.
Hi, Kavishbhai.
Yes.
Kavishbhai, when you talk about the weekly chart and weekly base, as we need to we need to consider any range on the weekly chart for the base.
See, if the base is longer than 10 to 12 weeks, then you need some momentum towards the right so that it proves कि अभी भी demand है in the stock. Like
Okay.
I think Lloyd में ऐसा हुआ था. So if you see, ये अगर हम ऐसे ही randomly देखें, it's a very big base. I'll just show you. Just give me a minute. Yeah. So it's a very big base. बट जब हम इसको रियल टाइम में देख रहे होंगे, एज सुन एज इट मूव्स पास्ट द लेवल ऑफ 12 वीक्स, उसके बाद यू नीड सम मोमेंटम टुवर्ड्स द राइट साइड ऑफ द बेस, वरना इट इज नॉट वैलिड. ओके, उस टाइम पे रैंडमली टाइट रेंजेस तभी नहीं चलती बिकॉज स्ट्रक्चर का हमें नॉलेज नहीं है. वी मिस आउट ऑन द पॉइंट कि राइट साइड पे पावर होनी चाहिए स्टॉक में. सो उसमें टेक्निकली हमें जो दिखा, जैसे दिस वॉज अ टाइट रेंज, बट वेयर इज द पावर ऑन द राइट साइड, है ही नहीं. दिस इज अ फ्रेश न्यू बेस. Now, we want that power to, this is power. The stock moved 90% in 4 weeks. Now this base will complete itself. This is what you want. If a stock has, it is correcting time wise, a lot of time correction, you need some power towards the right side of the base.
So,
Clear?
so can we consider that when it makes a base,
Yes.
before month or before 2 months, they have any kind of uptrend, correct?
सी, एक महीना पहले नहीं, मैंने आपको उल्टा पकड़ने का उसको बोला. ब्रेकआउट के बारे में मत सोचो, ये सोचो बेस बनना कब से शुरू हुआ है. जैसे
Okay.
इस पॉइंट पे 12 वीक्स हो गए थे. नाउ 12 वीक्स इज नॉट अ थंब रूल कि ये होना ही चाहिए.
Okay.
एक दो हफ्ता ऊपर नीचे, इट इज ओके, बिकॉज स्ट्रक्चर वाइज आप देखो, जैसे यहाँ पे 14 वीक पे ब्रेकआउट हुआ, बट डू यू सी अ डिफरेंस हियर. जब यहाँ ब्रेकआउट हुआ, बेस की डेप्थ इतनी कोई ज्यादा थी नहीं, 30%.
Yes.
बट जब यहाँ पे आया, इट वॉज अराउंड 60% फ्रॉम द पीक. तो स्ट्रक्चर ही खराब हो गया था. सो दैट इज द रीजन यू वांट दिस स्ट्रक्चर टू, मतलब एटलीस्ट 50% तक तो लेवल आपका जाना चाहिए बेस का, सो दैट यू नो दैट यस, थोड़ा डिमांड है टुवर्ड्स द राइट साइड. लाइक हियर
Okay.
ऑल्सो. Now, this was not liquid and this was not a very, this was less than 1 rupee stock, I think, split के बाद. But just for an example, stock 50% down है week पे. Now you need to see this kind of structure जहाँ पे थोड़ा right side पे power आ रहा है. And
Right.
post that you see कि base complete हुआ कि नहीं हुआ. ये सब में होता
Okay.
है. If you see IRFC, see, यहाँ पे टाइट रेंज था, मैंने मार्क करके रखा है, मेनी पीपल वर बाइंग इट हियर, बट 12 वीक से तो बहुत ही ज्यादा हो चुके हैं। बेस के राइट साइड में देयर इज नो पावर। आई वांट दैट पावर। मोस्ट पीपल फील दैट यहाँ पे हमने स्टॉप को मिस कर दिया है, बट दिस इज जस्ट एन एडेड कंफर्मेशन। इसके बाद ये डायरेक्टली 1000% नहीं मूव कर जाएगा, इट विल रेस्ट। सो दैट इज वॉट यू टिपिकली वॉन्ट टू सी इन अ चार्ट। कोचिन में भी यही था, 12 वीक से ज्यादा हो गया,
Noted.
वी वांट टू सी सम पावर। यहाँ तो दो लेगा गई, पहला यहाँ पे, दूसरा यहाँ पे। सो इट हैज सम पावर, आपको एक राउंडिंग स्ट्रक्चर दिखना चाहिए। क्लियर?
Yes, yes, Kavishwar.
Yeah,
Thank
okay.
you.
Most welcome. Yeah. So, Jyoti CNC, the same structure. We want to see some demand, some kind of momentum in the right structure. एक दो हफ्ते का टाइट, ये टाइट रेंजेस तब चलते हैं when the stock has already broken out of a very big base. So that is just a small halt जो stock ले रहा है after such a long period of consolidation. But when the move is starting out, you have to wait. See यहाँ पे भी it took 6-7 weeks to continue the trend. IIFL, दिस वाज अ वेरी क्लीन ट्रेंड, ये पिक्चर परफेक्ट है। सी, इतने बड़े डेड फेस के बाद, इतने बड़े डाउन ट्रेंड के बाद, मेनी पीपल वुड बी वेरी एक्साइटेड टू सी कि ये यहाँ पे है स्टॉक। अगर मैं इसको डेली चार्ट पे लगाऊं, जुलाई 2023, जस्ट बी ऑनेस्ट विद योरसेल्फ, हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू वुड हैव बॉट इट हियर व्हेन इट ब्रोक, व्हेन इट ब्रोक आउट हियर? जस्ट रेज योर हैंड इफ यू वुड हैव ट्रेडेड इट हियर। नो वन? ग्रेट यार, अच्छा है। द रीजन बीइंग यहाँ पे देयर इज नो एस्टैब्लिश ट्रेंड। यस रवि, अच्छा रेज योर हैंड, ओके कूल। रवि करेगा ट्रेड। सी, रीजन भी यहाँ पे क्या है, मैं आपको रीजन बताता हूँ। अभी कोई प्रूफ ही नहीं है दैट द स्टॉक इज इन अ गुड ट्रेंड। एज अ स्विंग ट्रेडर वी आर लुकिंग फॉर अ स्मॉल चंक ऑफ द एंटायर ट्रेंड। सो व्हाई आर वी ट्राइंग टू गेट इनटू अ स्टॉक इन हरी कि हमारा मिस हो जाएगा? बिकॉज सी, यहाँ पे एक क्लियर, व्हाट डू यू से, यहाँ पे एक क्लियर प्रॉब्लम ये था दैट यहाँ पे प्रायर कोई डिमांड का साइन नहीं है। इट हैज अ लॉट ऑफ ओवरहेड, अ लॉट। सी, यहाँ ओवरहेड का ये मतलब नहीं है दैट द स्टॉक हैज नो चांस टू मूव अप। ओवरहेड का ये मतलब है दैट एवरी टाइम इट मूव्स अप देयर इज अ चांस कि वो स्मूथली या लीनियर मूव नहीं करेगा, इट विल टेक इट्स टाइम टू एस्टैब्लिश अ ट्रेंड। एंड दैट इज एग्जैक्टली व्हाट हैपेंड हियर। इफ यू सी, इट ब्रोक आउट and it gave you another chance. This entry is much better than this one because you have some, you have some proof of demand. Do you agree? You need some proof before you jump in, a stock. Most people feel that यहाँ miss कर दिया तो पूरा trend चला जाएगा. See, if it is a bull market, if it is a strong market, you will get so many stocks that you will be confused which one to buy. And that is a sign of healthy market. So if you have FOMO, if you think that you will miss out a stock, it's not a good market. I personally feel that it did give you this entry. Now if you miss this entire move, no worries, wait for another base to form. It will form a base because see, it's breaking out of this big downtrend, big dead phase. If it has to move up, it will form a good clean base, and not just one, it gave you two entries. And see, you just need this 100% move in 11 weeks. Now, if you know how to size it and if you know how to manage this trade well, even if you miss this entire move, it would not matter, honestly. POCL, you don't have to buy within the base. You can buy outside the base. It's completely fine. You can miss the first leg. You can participate in the next leg up. That is the the perks of being a swing trader. You don't have to get in early. You just have to get in the right point so that you can capture that next leg up. Then shipping corporation, I've traded this. So a good up move. It got tight, formed a good base. 4 to 6 week का अच्छा base बना. Now, as a new trader, someone who's new to the markets, I advise everyone to look for a little bigger basis. I'm not saying 15-20 हफ्ते 50 हफ्ते का base. No, at least give the stock 15-20 days to form a base. You'll improve your win rate by a big margin, and you'll understand that structures take time to develop. Most of us post COVID have developed this bad habit of instant gratification from these smaller bases, that we have missed the whole point of understanding the structure. And now that you have studied some winners from 1996 to 2024, we'll get into uh, the main part of the session, that is scanning for stocks which are within the 52-week high range. That is 25% within the 52-week high. So this is what I call it a stage two. I've learned this from Mark Minovini. Whatever I do is built on his work. So yeah, the stock should be above its 200-day moving average, above the 50-day moving average. It should be within the 25% range of the 52-week high. And the minimum turnover criteria of here I've kept 5 crores, but you can adjust it according to your liking. So right now in this watch list we have around 134 names, but in a good market this list could have 550, 600 names. So we'll just one by one scroll through all the charts, and wherever you have doubt you can unmute yourself and you're free to ask your queries. And I'll try and tell you as much as with all the little knowledge that I have. I'll try to explain what I look for. So now, Apollo Microsystem. So it comes from a good theme. And I'll switch to the daily frame as well. So whenever you see all these colorful moving averages, just know that it's the daily frame. So now, many people would feel that they have missed this breakout, but essentially this could be a start of a new leg. Like I just explained to Rahul bhai, that you need some power towards the right when the base is longer than 12 weeks. So this is the sign of power. Look at the volume buildup. So this is a stock that I would keep in my watch list. So I'll just add this to my, it's already in my watch list. Then moving on, KPR Mills. Again, I'll add this to my watch list because I know most of the stocks are down and this stock just made a new all-time high. And I know that this stock has a catalyst. So I'll track it for the next couple of weeks. Again, I'll just right click on the name and add to a watch list, a simple plain watch list. Paras. Again, it's in my watch list. Camlin. Now look at this chart. Is this a clean chart? Is this a chart that you would trade basis all the charts that we have seen from 1996? Is this a clean looking chart? Anyone can answer, no? No
It's very
linearity.
choppy.
Very
No.
choppy. Rightly said. See, now many people would argue that the stock moved 35% from here. It moved, 30% here. But it does not matter because we have trained our eyes in such a way that we want linearity with momentum. Linearity without momentum is useless. Trust me, you'll waste a lot of your time because see, even if you trade the stock, 30% in 30 days is, typically useless. You don't want that. So I won't keep this in my watch list no matter how tight this is. But what most new traders do now, they see this tightness, they see that यार एक ही रेंज में घूम रहा है इतने हफ्ते से, I'll trade this with a very tight stop, but this is a very choppy stock. It has a very bad character. Whenever it breaks out, it moves for a week or two, then it goes sideways for a month. So why trade such stocks? No matter how big the base is, I won't trade it unless I see a very big move here, and only then I'll start tracking it. Now this stock. Would you, I'll move to the daily as well. Would you trade such stocks? Personally, no, I would not. Even though there you could say that it's trying to change its character, I'll give it, a couple of months to make a base and then I'll decide if I want to trade. But if a good market eventually comes, you'll see so many stocks, forming good clean bases, and eventually you will trade that. Aditya is asking, Nasdaq and defense stocks were not linear initially. Does that mean we give up the first leg? We'll go to the Nasdaq chart. Just now, this is the weekly chart. You've seen the charts that I showed you right now, and this chart. Does this not look much cleaner than the others? Just see this, and now I'll move to this. This has a lot of wicks, lot of red candles. Whereas Nasdaq, even when it started to move, chalo yaar, you missed this leg. You missed this leg. It's okay. Koi nahi. You eventually you will catch up. You don't need Nasdaq just because everyone's trading Nasdaq. So yeah, you'll get that stock that, a stock that moves 35-40%, and if you know to size it well, you'll make a good return from that stock. So no, I'll not keep this in my watch list. Manorama, a very smooth mover. It's at the all-time high, broke out with huge volumes, and it's a EP as well. It has a catalyst. I'll just add it to my watch list. Then Astra Micro, again.
Kavish bhai, here, sorry to disturb you.
Yeah.
यहाँ पे मनोरमा में there is one question regarding the volume.
Hmm.
Now, if you see, you have said that it is a good volume, correct? But after that good volume, it is fallen down on the daily charts, and if you see, there is a week. So how you consider this volume? Isn't it
See,
consider that this volume means
hmm.
the many people has sold their holdings here?
See, in the
Isn't it consider that?
primary scanning, whenever I scan, अभी तो जैसे I'm scanning the weekly chart, so I'm not getting
Okay.
to one daily का action. I'll just add it to
Yes.
my watch list. Primary यहाँ पे क्या मेरा thesis है ये कि it is at the all time high and
Yes.
it broke out on volume. मैंने सिर्फ इतना ही लॉजिक लगाया. आई हैव नॉट यूज्ड
Okay.
इनफ ब्रेन सेल्स. अभी इतना ही. जब मैं अपनी वॉच लिस्ट पूरी स्टडी करूंगा जो मैंने बनाई है, आई मूव ऑन टू द
Uh,
डेली फ्रेम, एंड
okay.
इवेंचुअली देन आई रियलाइज दैट यस, दिस इज नॉट अ रॉन्ग, दिस इज अ रॉन्ग सिलेक्शन. आई हैव टू अवॉइड दिस एट ऑल कॉस्ट अभी के लिए, until it shows some better action. So for now, whenever you're studying the weekly chart, don't use too much of your brain power. Just
Okay.
good clean base, right side पे थोड़ी पावर होनी चाहिए, वॉल्यूम बिल्डअप हो, and a clean break.
Yes.
That's it.
Okay.
Okay?
So now, okay, when you coming to daily,
Yeah.
जैसे आपने कहा it is not a right choice, but why? If अगर हम catalyst wise या फिर structure wise भी जाए,
Mm-hmm.
तो again you want that one leg, one up, एक अच्छा सा move आए upside की तरफ and then base बनाएगा, then we can consider for the buying, or can if any
See,
tightness is
मैं सिर्फ इसको कैरेक्टर वाइज अभी के लिए अवॉइड कर रहा हूँ, रीजन भी.
okay,
अब अभी अभी प्योरली कैरेक्टर पे है. अभी इसने डायरेक्ट मूव दिया है एंड मे बी इट फॉर्म्स अ हाई हैंडल हियर, बट वो मुझे तभी पता चलेगा जब यहाँ पे एटलीस्ट 2-3 हफ्ता और ये कंसोलिडेट करे. मतलब आई
okay,
पर्सनली, मेरा ये अपना बायस है, बिकॉज दैट इज हाउ आई हैव ट्रेन्ड माई आईज. आई अवॉइड
understood.
स्टॉक्स जो, लेट्स से अगर ये यहाँ पे टाइट हो गया,
Mhm.
assuming, let's assume कि ये नेक्स्ट 2 दिन में ऐसे टाइट हो गया. Many people who
Okay,
trade this, it's
yes,
okay.
absolutely.
I'm okay if this moves on to become the next big winner, but I'll not change my my foundations. So मेरे को पर्सनली ऐसा लगता है that big moves take time, so मैं उसका स्ट्रक्चर होने का वेट करूंगा, because I
Okay,
know जब भी ये मूव करता है, even here after breaking out it formed a base.
okay.
After breaking
So,
out here, यहाँ पे भी if you see, it formed a typical high handle जिसको थोड़ा टाइम लगा था. इफ यू सी द वीकली फ्रेम, यहाँ क्लियर ये 3 हफ्ते से एक ही रेंज में था,
mm,
और अभी यहाँ पे तो उल्टा ही एक्शन है. यहाँ पे रिलेटिवली इफ यू कंपेयर टू दिस, यहाँ पे इट जस्ट मूव 21%, बट हियर फ्रॉम द बॉटम इट हैज ऑलरेडी मूव 63%. So this
okay,
whole move needs digestion period. That is what I personally feel. I can be wrong. I am wrong most of the times. So this is just my view on this. And eventually you'll find much better setups. इससे काफी ज्यादा better.
ओके,
I,
नहीं
I
अगर
hope that
यहाँ पे
answers.
टाइम परमिट्स कर रहा है तो मैं 2 और चार्ट्स देखकर आपका व्यू, आई एम नॉट सेइंग दैट बाइंग व्यू और समथिंग एल्स, बट मुझे स्ट्रक्चर वाइज जानना था. एक तो प्रीवी स्पेशलिटी
Hmm.
एंड अनदर वन इज आरआर केबल, बिकॉज़ आरआर केबल इज मेकिंग द बेस विद द वॉल्यूम. या
प्रीवी
सो
वॉच
दिस
लिस्ट
इज
में
द
है.
प्रीवी
we'll come to
स्पेशलिटी.
that. प्रीवी वॉच लिस्ट में है.
ओके,
दूसरा आपने कौन सा बोला?
आरआर केबल.
नाउ ये देखो, ये तो चलो रिसेंटली लिस्टेड आईपीओस, बट आई हैव दिस रूल जहाँ पे आईपीओस को मैं ना फर्स्ट 6 मंथ्स के बाद उसके बेसिक कैरेक्टर के बेसिस पे ट्रैक करता हूँ, नॉट जस्ट अ रैंडम आईपीओ की वॉच लिस्ट बना के. सो
नो
एज ऑफ
वंडर
नाउ, सॉरी,
इट इज मेकिंग द कंसोलिडेशन रेंज.
डेली पे.
यस.
इस बट सी, मैंने अभी वही आपको बोला ना, मैं मेरा नेचर ऐसा है कि आई वांट इट टू मेक अ गुड बिग बेस, एंड बिग से मेरा वही 40-50 हफ्ते का नहीं, 4-6 वीक्स का बेस
ओके,
हो
ओके,
तो आई एम मोर कंफर्टेबल. बिकॉज जस्ट
अंडरस्टूड.
I've shown you enough examples, I think, to tell you that after such a fall, you cannot just randomly take a U-turn and move up 100%. You
राइट, राइट,
you need
इन द
enough
शॉर्ट टर्म.
digestion period. Got it?
ओके, यस, यस.
Yes. Okay. We'll get to preview when we scroll through the
ओके,
entire
ओके.
list. Okay. Now this. See, even this, it is trying to get above its previous swing high. But as of now, is there a trade? Just because एक theme wise कुछ चल रहा है, I won't randomly buy it. See, यहाँ पे it did have a tight consolidation. It did break out on very big volumes. But will I buy it? No. Left or right side match ही नहीं कर रहा. Even if you look at this base, I have not seen a winner that starts off its move like this. This could be a outlier, but structure ही नहीं अभी इसका ready. Yes, Aditya rightly said, structure is not complete. So I will keep this in my watch list, but I will wait for the entire structure to complete. Symmetry, I think किसी ने symmetry बोला. Rightly said, symmetry चाहिए for it to move up. As a swing trader, I don't want to be early. I will be late, but I want to get at the right entry point, not early. BDL. Now, uh, this might give me a backlash. Many people would not agree with me, but this is the another problem that I see in many of people right now. See, you need some power, like I said. Here we did have power, but the right side was not ready. Personally, मेरे को ऐसा लगता है. I feel I think Matchdock में था. I'm not sure we'll get to Matchdock, but yes, I don't think this was tradable. इसके बाद जो भी बेस बनता है, मेरे को पर्सनली लगता है I would be very comfortable trading that, but good for people who traded this and are making money. But I would put this in my watch list and track it for a couple of more months. Reddington. Now, you guys tell me, is this a tradable stock right now? No. Perfect. Why? It moved 50% right from the bottom for starters. Then, whenever it breaks out, it's not a smooth mover. And since a very long time, it's not a smooth mover. Very choppy. So, we'll avoid this stock. We have so many options. No point in tracking random stocks. Now, Thyrocare. Again, it a 1 week move. I am not comfortable with these. I want a sustained move. If the trend has to sustain, it has to be smooth. It has to be gradual. So अभी क्या है? Even though यहाँ पे there is whatever you can call it anything. I don't know what to call it. मेरे पास नाम ही नहीं है इस चीज के लिए. So I would personally avoid it because ये U-turn मुझे नहीं पसंद. I want smooth structures जो इसमें अभी के लिए मेरे को लगता है नहीं है. But if in a couple of months or weeks it sets up, I would definitely try it. But अभी के लिए मैं इसको watch list में भी नहीं रखूंगा. Masdog, no question asked. इसको तो इतना smooth mover है. इसको we'll keep it in the watch list. Suven Life Science. What do you think of this chart? I know we are going very slow, but the point of this whole exercise is to help you understand what to look for. Yes, correct. Very choppy. Yeah, right. Very choppy. Not keeping it. Care rating. I'm not even interested because see the down leg. It has almost given up all the gains. Not interested. LT Foods. Not interested. Do you see? I don't know if you guys see this, but if you closely observe now, you will see this structure in many of these stocks. They're slowly moving down, and the selling intensity, it's big, and they're slowly drifting down. So this could be a start of stage four, or they just need a big uppo on the right side. So eventually we can start looking at these stocks as well. Okay, moving on. So this is not a chart that I would personally keep it in my watch list. Now, would you keep this chart or would you avoid such charts? Personally, avoid. Good leg, but no entry. Yes, rightly said. See, this is a character change. Of course, this is a character change. If you see the long term, structure, it's not a very smooth mover. But because it is this is a kind of a character change, I will keep it in the watch list. But it's not tradable as of now. And even if it forms a base, I don't know if I will trade it because on the daily frame, whenever it moves up, it's forming very small candles. I don't want that. Right. It's a group strength. That may be a reason of this stock moving, but yeah. BEL. Again, it's a very long base, but I want some power on the right side. This could be we did bounce right from the bottom, but I want it to break out and then form a base. Only then I would consider such stocks. No matter how good the group is, no matter how good the theme is, I want some proof. And yeah, rightly said. Volume activity, if you see, it's not normal. We want very less volume whenever it moves down and huge volume when it moves up जो अभी तक नहीं आया है. We'll keep it in the radar, that is the watch list, but not tradable for now. Now this, what do you think of this stock? Yes, it is in the FNO segment. See, this is what I'm doing right now. It's just to filter the raw watch list. ये वीकेंड में एक बार करना है, एंड इवेंचुअली जब आपकी एक बड़ी वॉच लिस्ट बन जाएगी, यू डोंट हैव टू इवन स्कैन एवरी वीक. यू जस्ट हैव टू गो थ्रू दैट बिग वॉच लिस्ट एंड स्टडी दो स्ट्रक्चर्स, बिकॉज वही बेस्ट स्ट्रक्चर्स हैं. सो कीपिंग BEL is just to track if the structure is intact over the couple of months. Coromandel, uh, the pullback is deep. सी, पुल बैक मैं डेली पे जाके देखूंगा ना, आई वुड डिलीट दिस फ्रॉम द वॉच लिस्ट ओनली. इट्स अ वेरी वेरी बैड स्टॉक. इट कुड बी अ लीडर इन द थीम या सेक्टर वाला पार्ट, बट सी, अ स्टॉक मेक्स अस मनी व्हेन इट मूव्स फास्ट. एज अ स्विंग ट्रेडर आई वांट दैट. अगर वो नहीं हो रहा, इट डिजर्व्स नो स्पेस इन माय वॉच लिस्ट एंड द रेडार. सो अवॉइड इट. हिताची, yes, we'll keep it in the watch list. Solar industries again. See, these are very high price stock. Personally, I don't trade such high price stocks. ये थोड़ा typically ज़्यादा ही हो गया. But structure wise, अभी के लिए we're just adding it to the watch list, and watch list को बाद में हम filter out करेंगे. Paradeep. Now you see the nature of this stock. 2 हफ्ते चला and उसके बाद dead. Right from the bottom, again dead. But the only reason for us to track this stock is the group movement, because इस ग्रुप में सारे ही ऐसे मूव कर रहे हैं. एंड यहाँ डिफरेंस क्या है? ये अभी जो बॉटम से चले हैं ना, इन इवेंचुअली इन अ कपल ऑफ वीक्स वी वी माइट गेट दैट चेंज ऑफ कैरेक्टर वाला सीन. सो दैट इज द ओनली रीजन वी आर कीपिंग इट इन द वॉच लिस्ट, वरना इसको नहीं कोई भी स्पेस देंगे. UPL deserves no space in the watch list. Now you know why. Aarti Pharma, a very bad stock. CET deserves some space. Character change है. Nazara, character change है. Again in the watch list. Aarti Pharma has good results, but results don't make us money, na? The stock makes us money. If the stock is not a fast-moving linear stock, it deserves no space. So see, most traders struggle with this. They can select a stock, but elimination, they find it tough. So elimination is much more important than randomly selecting anything. So if Aarti Pharma starts to, show some good character, uh, eventually हमें कुछ मिलेगा. So yeah, we'll avoid this for now. Anup, अगेन आई थिंक अभी मैंने आपको बोला, इफ यू सी, सारे आपको ऐसे बहुत टिपिकल ये स्ट्रक्चर्स दिख रहे होंगे जहाँ पे दिस स्टॉक इज हैविंग दिस काइंड ऑफ राउंडिंग एक्शन. सो दैट इज व्हाट आई एम ऑब्जर्विंग इन दिस केस. एंड लाइक आई टोल्ड राहुल भाई दैट पोस्ट अ सर्टेन लेवल जहाँ पे बेस इतना बड़ा हो जाता है, ये जो बड़े बड़े रेड बार्स है ना, यू नीड काउंटर टू देम. सो अगर मुझे यहाँ पे कुछ भी चाहिए ना, I want it to break out with huge volumes, with with multiple big green weeks, and eventually we can start tracking it. But for now, it deserves no space in our watch list. HAL, again, थीम वाइज आप करो तो ठीक है, बट इफ आई वर टू प्रेफर, BEL was much more, it was cleaner. I personally feel that. बट ग्रुप मूव है तो आई विल कीप इट, बट वॉच लिस्ट में जैसे ही आएगा मैं उसको वहां पे फिल्टर आउट कर दूंगा. दिस इज हाउ यू ट्रैक ग्रुप्स. आपको मल्टीपल स्टॉक एक ग्रुप के दिख रहे हैं, यू स्टार्ट टू बिल्ड अ वॉच लिस्ट. डिजर्व्स नो स्पेस इन द वॉच लिस्ट. काइटेक्स्ट, add it to the watch list. PVS select, no, no. Max Healthcare. Now see, many of these hospital wale stocks, they are, they were looking good. Just tell me, would you trade such stocks? And I'm, randomly buying these. ये pivots नहीं है buy करने के लिए. Just एक character देखने के लिए मैं बोल रहा हूँ. This has a terrible character. Deserves no space in your watch list. These are names, which they're very slow movers. बार बार correct Aditya, will be thrown out again and again. And see, it is okay if this stock continues to move up, and this could be a linear stock, whenever it moves, but it's not a fast moving stock, so deserves no space. No, 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 no. Again, no, no structure. Azad. Now see, when it fell down, it had these big down days. Yes, see, the character or the nature matters, because that is what will reward us in the future whenever we buy it. Now you see, इसके अंदर भी वही same structure देखने को मिल रहा है, longer term में भी वही same rounding action, and there's a very high chance यहाँ पे भी round हो, क्योंकि see how it is moving whenever it's moving up. So you need a stock that is showing momentum on the right side, because see, right side पे हम लोग buy करते हैं, so you need immediate momentum, but right side is not the only thing you look at. आपको left side इसलिए देखनी है ताकि you understand the structure and where we are in the price cycle. That is how you time your entries in stock. Timing सिर्फ tightness या फिर वो VCP से नहीं होता है. That is what most new traders miss out on. Indus, now see, a long, a very long base, tried to break out, showed some power. Volume action is terrible, but structure decent है अभी के लिए, so it is added to the watch list. JK, no, moving right from the bottom, but eventually, if it forms a good base here, we can look into it, so we can add it to the watch list. And don't worry यार, watch list I know आप लोगों को लगेगा बहुत बड़ी बन जाएगी. We'll eliminate a lot of stocks right now इसके बाद. Vishnu Chemicals, no, deserves no space. No. Britannia, no. PNB, now see, it is, this could be a shakeout, and it is moving right from the bottom. Some volume build up, not getting too deep into the price action and all of that. We'll just add it to the watch list, and later we'll understand how the structures are. No, a V-shaped recovery. Ashok Leland, no. Marico, no. No. DCB Bank, it's moving right from the, right from the bottom. But eventually, if it forms a base, we can look into it. Now see, दो बैंक्स दिख गए, मतलब सिमिलर थीम के फाइनेंस वाले, एड टू द वॉच लिस्ट ना, बाद में इसको एलिमिनेट करेंगे. नो, इट्स अ वेरी स्लो मूवर, इट कुड बी लीनियर बट अ वेरी स्लो मूवर. चंबल फर्टिलाइजर, I just shared this, it's not a fast mover, not interested, not a fast mover. Now it moved up here. If it, shows some power towards the right side, then maybe add it to the watch list. Not a smooth mover. CSB Bank, again, multiple, we see multiple banks, so we add it to the watch list, and later we'll understand if they are worth tracking, or not. Nika, no. Fortis, again, Max Health में भी ऐसा ही था, clean नहीं है. No, no, no. I think someone asked about this stock. I'm not sure. किसी ने, I think कोई तो कृष्णा करके कोई stock था. I think someone asked. You can type it out again. I'll see. What was the name of the stock, Aditya? Krishna Foss. Okay, we just. अच्छा यही. Okay, we have it in the watch list. Okay. Now see, अभी typically we can add this to the watch list because this is a clean character change. डाल दो इसको अपने watch list में. We were discussing this one. Krishna, no, doesn't deserve a space. No. Krishna, just added to the watch list. No, even though, see, this is a big winner, but it's not a fast mover per se, and it did break out here. But if you see the daily chart, यहाँ पे कुछ भी नहीं है देखने लायक. Force Motors, no questions asked, इसको डालना ही है watch list में. Gabriel, yes, added to the watch list. India Shelter, no. Even though it did move up, it's not a smooth mover. Tata Consumer, no. Max Financial Services, no. IEX, no, it still needs a lot of work. EU Bank, we saw a lot of banks, so just for the sake of it, we'll just add it. Berger Paint, no. Paytm, no. Aegis, it could, if it breaks out from here and, shows some power towards the right, then we can start tracking it, but for now, no. Aegis, mein, there's a lot of wicks. Yes, there's a lot of wicks. That is the reason I told you, right side पे थोड़ा power दिखेगा, then we'll start tracking it. Indian Bank, just because of the reason we have multiple banks, we'll just add it, बाद में eliminate करेंगे. BPCL, no. Now this is not a good structure for now, but finance का theme है. It could form a good structure in future. It's added in the watch list. HDFC, AMC, it's a slow mover, no point of tracking it. So see, we need a base here. We'll just add it to the watch list. United Spirits, no. Slow mover, no. Avanti Feeds, no. Kotak, no. Privy. Now see, good linearity in TFCL, yes, but the stock is not fast moving. When we get to the watch list, I'll tell you why I don't like this stock. Uh, Now see, Privy. Right now, even if it gets tight, here for a couple of weeks, I won't personally touch it. I want it to, move up a little bit more on high volumes with huge big candles. Reason being, whenever we get such a big breakout, it does not stop right at the breakout point. It never consolidates right here. It If it is, it's just showing you that it's a slow mover. वो हर breakout के बाद base on base बनाते बनाते चलेगा. So it's better. जैसे just see, यहाँ पे it broke out, उसके बाद उसने बेस बनाया, बट पावर आप देखो यहाँ पे, इट मूव्ड 35% इन 3 वीक्स. अगेन नॉट अ बिग मूव, बट थोड़ा तो आया मूव. यहाँ पे भी ब्रेकआउट के बाद कुछ मूवमेंट है ही नहीं. अभी तो इट हैज जस्ट मूव 8% फ्रॉम द पीक. सो वी कैन कीप इट इन द वॉच लिस्ट. इट इज इन द वॉच लिस्ट, बट नॉट ट्रेडेबल फॉर एटलीस्ट अ कपल ऑफ मंथ्स. अपोलो. चेकआउट एक्शन ऑफ प्रिवी 2020. Yes, that is what I was trying to tell you. Yes, यहाँ पे वही था. But do you see, structures take time to develop. वो overnight नहीं बन जाएंगे. Trying to break out, but again, if you see, it needs some power towards the right. It has been dead for too long. Needs a lot of work. Hindustan Petroleum, no. See, again, I have shared this with the community members as well. We see this kind, whenever we see this kind of fall, you cannot just buy a random breakout which gets tight for 2 3 weeks. No, this is not a correct structure. And you just memorize this. Eventually, these structures they reverse and they continue their downward trajectory. So if this has to continue, it has to do something like this, wherein it moves up, covers up all the downfall, and eventually sets up and then continues its up move. So we try and avoid such structures, because अच्छे market में you will see so many that you'll only be confused as to what to trade and what to avoid. And yeah, right, Aditya, no winner has done this in the past. So we are needs tightness near six. uh, I maybe I personally feel tightness is other. It needs power on the right side. Unless it has power, if it slowly climbs up, there's no point of even tracking such stocks. Now, many people, were talking about this stock that it has broken out of a big base. Now, this is a case study for us. It broke out again. No, I'm not denying the fact that it broke out, but see the volume action. It broke out, and on the third week of the move, then it had the highest volume. Again, one red flag. Then on the daily frame, just see, only 2 days are making up for the entire gain. Only 2 days. This is something that I avoid at in all cases. A big red flag for me. Now, it did have a consolidation here. I'll remove these drawings and I'll show you. This is a consolidation, but is it tradable? No. Why? Just see the overall structures now. Can this also be because of overall? See, it can be because of the overall market, but I'm just talking about the individual stock. This is not a good move. Did you see any stock which I showed you in the past do this? We can go through the daily charts of them as well, but you will never see a left side like this. You will see a consistent up move. Like I think I've shown you. If this was a daily chart, this is how a daily chart should look like, a smooth up move. You need multiple green up days or weeks. Right, linearity is there, but no thrust power, rightly said. Bharati Hexa. So we'll not keep NH. Now, do you remember we put Indus Towers in the watch list? So this comes from the same group. It broke out. Now, eventually, you know, uh, it will form a base, and then we can track it. So we'll keep it in the watch list. Yeah. So then comes Astadium. Now look at this one. If you see the history, this is not a fast mover. It could be a linear stock, but not a fast mover. Even though it could break out and give us a good move, we'll eventually track it if it starts to form some kind of a powerful, it gives us a powerful up move basically. Now, if you compare this and this, a clear difference. You see, it moved up on, a good up move, 50% in 6 weeks. But when we come to the daily frame, it's a good base, but it's a very slow mover, even in the past. So, but we'll not even track Aster DM. But for now, we'll keep this in the watch list just because of the reason it has a clean base. For now, we'll wait for it to break out. We'll wait for it to move up fast and move up a lot, and then form a base, and then we'll start to slowly accumulate this. Not tracking it, a V-shape recovery. India glycol, yes, I'm tracking it just because of the this power that it has shown. There are no volumes right now. That is the prime. That is one of the reasons I'm not trading it here. But I will definitely keep it in the watch list. Nothing here as of now. If it makes a base here, then we'll start tracking it. Mm, Again, comes from the banking. We can keep it in the watch list. Indigo, no. I want to see some power on the right side. No power. Coforge, no. We can keep it in the watch list. And see, at this point, you just need a good base. I have shown you what good base looks like. That is what you want right now. So I don't go through these charts so slowly. I quickly scroll through them. But for now, we just slowly understand what exactly to look for. LTF, no, nothing. Do you see there's actually nothing. No, there's no, not a fast, not even one fast stock that is participating in the up move. This was one reason I told you initially that regret करने का कोई मतलब नहीं है. You don't have to feel bad for yourself that you missed something. No, you did not miss anything. Now a good base, eventually it may break out. We'll track it. M&M, no. BSC, no. Bajaj Finance, no. Axis, no. HSCL, yes, it's a good stock. SBI card, no. There's no, the quality of the up move is not that great. And if you see, it's forming a very big base with not much power towards the right side. Yeah. HDFC Bank, no. Now do you see, many people would consider this tightness and post this chart and buy it just because, see, again, वही pattern recognition बहुत अच्छा है लोगों का, but character recognition is very bad. Now people would draw circles like this and say that यार यहाँ से move करेगा. See, it can move, but we are students of the market and students of the history that the market is trying to tell us that history में ऐसे moves नहीं work out करते. You need some kind of up move and some kind of thrust before you actually buy a stock. Yes, we'll keep this because it has that thrust, but base नहीं बना अभी. We'll keep this in the watch list as well. Dixon, no. Arvind, yes, even though volume nahi aaya, but you see some kind of demand towards the right. And because we just saw KPR, KPR mill moving up so much, this could have a catalyst. Right now, I may not know what the catalyst is, but because I know कि कौन से sector का है, ये bottom पे लिखा हुआ आ जाता है. So I will track it. I will track Vadilal. It is in the watch list. I will track this as well. For now, not tracking this. So यार पता है, I have also seen people justify that इतना move किया है अब यहाँ पे base बना रहा है. But put some sense to the broader context. See, it is still in the base formation. That is a stage one. I am not interested in dying by 1,000 cuts just because I want to be early. I will let it move up. I will let it move up 100% if it has to move. But I will only enter after some confirmation of demand. CNC, no. Apollo. So now, see, we are done. It took around, I think, 30-40 minutes to do all this, but it will not take much time if you scroll through the entire watch list fast. Now, if you see, मेरे watch list में already काफी नाम थे, but अगर हम वही stocks देखें जो अभी हमने डाले, Paras, it's a good stock. BDL, it's a good stock. Indus was in that watch list. We'll go to the daily chart up. As of now, there's nothing to track here. It needs a base. Then Nazara was something that we added from that watch list. It has broken out, but it needs a base. We added AIIL, same. There's nothing, it needs a base. We added this stock. Now see, the character of this stock has suddenly changed over here. This is the primary reason of keeping it, but because it was moving on small candles, I am a little apprehensive. I'll remove it from the watch list because it's not a smooth mover. I don't want such stocks. This was not SDBL was not something we were tracking. Sham metals. Now see, whenever it moves decent. 20 days में 40%. But needs a good right side as of now. Abhi bhi it is not ready, but eventually it will be. So we'll keep this in the watch list. Force Motors, and I'm only going through the stocks which we have added while scanning. Okay. Force Motors again, a good clean chart. Right side की जरूरत है. Swaraj, do you also consider the run between bases? I didn't get your question. What do you mean by run between the bases, Aditya? You can unmute yourself if possible and then ask. Uh,
Hi. What I meant to say was some stocks from one base to the second base, there's like just a 20 to 25 run, while some stocks give like 100 and 150 percentage run from like one base to another. In case of Sham Metallics, post one base, it like hardly moved 20 to 25%, and then again, like came inside the base. Like the correction is almost,
yeah,
below the
coming
line
back.
of the,
Hmm.
yeah,
See, this is like I told earlier, when the power comes on the right side and it is within the base, I neglect everything that it has done in the past while making that base. I am only focused on the power right now. As long as the base quality is decent and there is power towards the right side, I am okay to, let go of the other things. That is what I do personally. And see, if you ask me if this was a good market, I would never trade this stock because I want something like this
correct.
wherein the consolidation is not too long. Uh,
Yeah,
and I want stocks to not break their 10 weekly moving average. Uh,
okay.
they have a lot of power if they don't break the 50-day, but here it broke the 50-day. That is the primary reason I want a longer base on the right hand side because now it has to prove itself. Unless I'm absolutely sure about the structure, I won't put money, even if it moves 100%. I'm okay missing out on that move because but I won't bend
Yeah.
my rule. I hope that answers
Yeah,
your
same.
query.
Yeah, I have one more question regarding like the volume activity. Can you open Sham Metallics once? Yeah. So, in like the William O'Neill books and Mark Minervini books, there are like two types of volumes that I'm confused with. One is like the volume inside the base. So, in like some books, it's written that there should be a volume drive towards the left hand side of the base, and more volume should be present on the right hand side of the base. But like in case of Sham Metallics, in like the middle portion of the base, like from the starting of 2025 to like the Aprilish, and then from April to May there is like a lot of volume dry up. So, what is your thought process on like the volume footprint inside the base and once it breaks out of the base?
See, from the left to right, if you see the base, you rightly said that you want to see that volume build up. So see, it's not necessary that you see the volume build up only on the right side. See, understand the characteristic. If you are seeing a lot of
Okay.
bullish volume, that is a lot of buying, you see price appreciation and a lot of volume at the bottom of the base, it's also a good sign because essentially it's
Okay.
showing you that bottom pe buying आई है. So that's a positive. But right side पे volume missing नहीं होने चाहिए. Like in this case, there are volumes, not great volumes, but uh, धीरे धीरे वॉल्यूम बिल्डअप तो है देयर इज इंक्रीज इन वॉल्यूम इफ यू कंपेयर इट टू द लेफ्ट साइड ऑफ द बेस बट टू आंसर योर क्वेश्चन वॉल्यूम बिल्डअप राइट साइड पे भी हो तो भी चलेगा वॉल्यूम
Got it.
बिल्डअप बॉटम के अराउंड हो तो भी चलेगा बस लेफ्ट साइड पे वॉल्यूम कॉन्ट्रैक्शन थोड़ा होना चाहिए एज एंड व्हेन इट्स फॉलिंग
Okay. So you feel in Sham Metallics like those big red days, right? They don't have like much great of a volume. So do you consider that as a good sign in this case?
See, I personally prefer 2, 3 big weeks or big down days on the daily chart because it just shows you some panic towards the left side. वो
Got it.
अच्छा है वो अच्छा है
Got it.
So this is good action as long as this stays towards the left side only. Right side तक ये नहीं आना चाहिए. That is what I personally like seeing in stocks. यहाँ पे भी if you see यहाँ पे भी लेफ्ट साइड पे ही है थोड़ा बुरा एक्शन. Even if you see here ये गैप डाउन है जो यहाँ पे भी दिख नहीं रहा. But if we go and
हाँ,
see
it's a gap down.
daily, I think यही है. Yes, I think यही है. This is a this was a gap down. यहाँ पे गैप डाउन हुआ
Got
था.
it.
क्लोजिंग से नीचे 5-6% खुला था. So I want some sort of action like this towards the left side of the base. Just shows you that there was some panic and थोड़े बहुत sellers थोड़े बाहर हो गए हैं अब. And as in when we move towards the right side, I want to see that volume build up and that price appreciation just to get that added layer of confirmation before I actually park some money here.
Understood. Okay. Thanks a lot for clarification. Thank you.
So, yeah. Swaraj, I think that was another stock that we added. Again, nothing as of now. If you see this structure, it's terrible as of now. We want a good base formation and some power towards the right side, and only then we'll consider it. It was not in the list. Manorama. So now, I think Rahul Bhai had highlighted this, that it had 1 day of highest volume. See, this had a highest volume ever on after the earnings. So I'm not removing this out of the watch list as long as it stays here and makes a good base for a couple of more days or weeks, and then I'll consider buying it. Until then, this is not a stock that I am tracking. See, you might see a lot of other stocks here. Just ignore them. वो पुराने में भी पड़े होंगे इसके अंदर. I should have made different watches, but let's just go with this only. I remember the names. So see, again, a pullback, but there's no structure, a clean structure wherein we can just pull the trigger as of now. Same thing here. TFC, CIC. यहाँ पे मुझे issue क्या है? See, it has moved right from the bottom, and I clearly remember a lot of people were talking about, the stock here. I have marked this also. A lot of people were saying that ये तो चलेगा. It did move up, but just ask yourself, जो भी हमने winners देखे, did any of them have this structure जहाँ पे वो यहीं से बस भाग गए हो, या they did not give another entry point? I personally think otherwise ऐसा कहीं पे भी नहीं हुआ. So I am okay to miss this. So I'll just wait for it to form another entry here because I want that build up ना. यहाँ पे सिर्फ एक ही हफ्ते का था, but these 2 weeks had additional volume buying. So this is just added layer of confirmation. And if this stock is the next leader and it has to move 100, 200, or even 50, 60%, it will give you 2 or 3 more opportunities to add in. And कंफर्मेशन के बाद जो मूव आता है, यस राइटली सेड, वो बहुत इंप्रूव करेगा योर एक्यूरेसी, एंड इट जस्ट एड्स अ लॉट ऑफ कंफर्मेशन एंड थोड़ा आपका सिलेक्शन बेटर हो जाता है. KSCL, सेम, देयर इज नो बाइंग हियर. If anyone has any doubts, they can unmute themselves and ask. मैं chat, I'm not
Hi,
seeing the chat.
I have a doubt, but it's not regarding from your current watch list. It's actually regarding IceMake. So actually, I had taken an entry in IceMake like around I think 10, 15 days ago, and it was actually forming a good base. What I felt, but in the on the weekly also it was looking quite decent. But I think I mean I don't know I think due to market pressure or something, it's like tumbled down a lot.
See, just to highlight, if you see the character of the stock post a big breakout, it does move. It's a decent mover. Now, we can't call this linear, but we can call this a very fast mover post breakout.
Like
And
what I actually saw was like the run it made like after 2023 was quite linear, and on the daily this was having a really good volume like before breakout also, and sort of like a tennis ball action on the daily. Hence I tried it because on the 7th April when the tariffs were announced, it went down quite a lot and it came back up very quickly, which is like a tennis ball action that Mark Melanie mentioned in his books already. Hence I gave it a shot, but now post today's session, what I feel is I could have waited a bit more on this one because the structure was not exactly like you mentioned the winners had.
yeah,
Maybe
see, the market environment has a huge role here, and because things were not moving. See, if the market environment was good, this could have moved a lot. But I think post this move, ये base काफी choppy था personally. Even though
okay,
past में बहुत अच्छा move किया है,
correct,
but if you see the character, they never what do you say, 50 day या फिर 10 week के नीचे there was not a lot of action या chopping around नहीं था. But
correct,
post when 2024 started, उसके बाद से काफी choppy है ये. So
okay,
personally, one primary reason of avoiding this was to wait for a proper a good powerful base to form after the breakout and avoid all this choppy action. Plus the market environment was as it is not good. But अगर अच्छा होता, could have moved a lot because past action अच्छा है, but current base मेरे को personally नहीं अच्छा लगा. And with all of that, with whatever we
so
have
like
discussed,
do you think if there was some tightness in this and the market environment was better, it would have been a better bet? But
Maybe the
like
tightness in
what I saw was like from November to like post November, like, all the supply was like absorbed within like 5 days. So I felt that was very bullish. So that is why
it's
I'm
it's
not
it's not it's a very choppy base personally. That is the only thing I have to say for this. And it was a decent mover in the past, but as of now, in this market, this stock looks good. But in a good market,
good
you would
market.
find this
It wouldn't
stock
be it
terrible.
wouldn't looking that good because currently it's standing out because the other stocks are very weak. But like
Yeah,
in
so
good
see,
market,
you don't have to trade any stock just for the sake of trading it. And this is
correct,
the primary reason we tried to avoid this stock because, yeah, choppy hai, it will act choppy post breakout, and there's no point of risking so much money just
correct.
for the sake of that thrill कि breakouts work नहीं कर रहे and we have to trade something. ऐसा नहीं है.
Understood. Understood. Okay. Thanks a lot for clarification.
Avanti feed. I think we were at KSCL. Yeah. Again, needs a lot of work. Then Apollo needs a this is choppy because last stage leg. Yes, see, overall base ही उसका बहुत choppy था. If you see ice make, overall base ही if you see ये पूरा जो बना है, this leg was decent, but उसके बाद prefer stocks that don't break their 50-day because most big winners they never chop around their 50-day, they chop around their 10 and 20-day. So fast movers कभी यहाँ तक आएंगे ही नहीं. That is the reason of avoiding it. Apollo, same, अभी start हुआ है, requires a lot of work. KPR mill, just the first leg needs a lot of work. Microsystem कुछ है ही नहीं as of now. If you see in now, yeah, a good example. Many people, how many of you would buy it here? I think I've marked it already. How many of you would think of buying it here? Me. Okay. Ravi. Rahul. See, the issue with this stock is now if you see the weekly frame, no volume. Yes, if you just see the structure right now, and I can be wrong until I'm proven, Otherwise, I still have this feeling only because there's no power. I want that big green week so that I am proven wrong that yes, this stock is ready to fire up, but I want this. I want it to move up and only then I'll buy because see, it's way deep inside its base, 25% down from the all-time high. I know many of you would say that it's okay, but where's the power? I cannot rely on the this left side. I want if it's forming a base, I want power within the base as well. Power है ही नहीं, so I would avoid it. So अभी के लिए कुछ भी नहीं. We'll wait for it to move up a little, show some strength. If it does not, most likely it will fail and move down. Average structure, not nothing good here. Again, average structure moves up, takes a lot of time. Good structure, but requires a lot of time correction. He's not in the C8 was in the list. Yes, needs a lot of work, needs base building. BEL, again, many of us would, trade it right here because we feel that this is a cup and handle and everything, but there's no power towards the right. There's no volume buildup. Plus, it's a FNO name. So I would just remove it from the watch list, even though it comes from a good sector, but I'm not interested. Power India and Solar India are very high price stock. I'm not interested in them. Paradeep, again, requires a lot of work, but the left side is not good. Took a lot of time, a lot of small candles as it moved up, not interested. HAL, again, there's nothing here. I still want that big big week so that I can trust the up move. As of now, it's just a sell on rise type of stock. So I'll remove it. Kitex, it's enough in the 5% circuit range, so again requires a lot of work right now. Anuras requires a lot of work. Banking stocks were moving, so we added it, but there's no left side. Do you see any power? Just close your eyes and visualize Masdog, Cochin, GRSE, POCL, PBCL, then Kitex, then what do you say? BEPL, uh, all these stocks. Is this the left kind of left side we saw in those names? Remember Chennai Petro, MRPL. It's not that kind of a stock. We're just keeping it because of the strong sector push. Again, sector move, but no power. No power whatsoever. CSB Bank. Nothing. This is a terrible. I'm just removing it. बाकी सारे फिर भी ठीक थे. Some power towards the left side, but if you see the weekly, there's nothing. It requires a very long base. 4 to 6 weeks तो कहीं नहीं गए इसमें. Again, requires a lot of power towards the right side. Bharti Hexa. Again, decent stock, but थोड़ा power चाहिए, थोड़ा base formation चाहिए. India Glycol, again, some right side toward some build up towards the right side. Volume action इतना कोई great नहीं है. SBFC, some power, but volume ही नहीं है. But you can see थोड़े बहुत banking and finance related, these names are showing some strength. Terrible, we just remove it. Wrong choices. Arvind, again, a sector type of move जहाँ पे theme थोड़ा catalyst based है, but we need power. This is not sufficient. 30%, you might feel it's a lot, but see the action. कैसे move किया है? 2-3, only one day wherein it moved over 5%. बाकी सारे दिन 2-3%, 2-3%. It is not a sign of strength. It could be a sell on rise stock. If you see थोड़ा बहुत rounding action भी है इसके अंदर, and there's no volume build up. Terrible, nothing. Now, can you tell me, did any of these stocks look like this? Anyone? Can anyone tell me if अब देखो इसमें क्या है, हमें एकदम नेगेटिव बायस नहीं लिखना. Are the structures valid? Give me a yes or no. Are the structures valid? Whatever we discussed were all valid structures ना. Weekly पे सारे structure अच्छे थे. But if you see the right side, if you see the power on the left side, there's no enough buying power both on the left and the right side. So this just clearly shows that even if you see one or two stocks move up, and even if you miss them, it's okay. It is completely fine if you miss a stock. Yes, right. See, you don't have to explain. I know it's a feeling that it's not feeling. You don't feel these structures. वो थोड़ा low accuracy right हो जाता है आपका. But we have just quantified everything. What to look for, what to completely ignore, what is a good structure, what is a bad structure, and all this, all this while the market is telling us that majority of the stocks are below their 200-day moving average. Majority of the stocks. There is no stock that is making a new 52-week high. So all this is just adding to our bias that it's a wait and watch kind of an environment. I'm not telling you to be extremely bearish and start to start and you just go ahead and short stocks. No, uh, you have to accumulate stocks in your watch list, not in your portfolio. Accumulate stocks which are structurally making sense. And eventually, when their structures complete, you will see these great movers emerging from your own watch lists. So you don't even have to scan daily right now. Just if you have processes, then again, great. But if you don't have time, if you feel that you're missing out, trust me, you're not missing out. Just put in the work on Saturday or Sunday. Go through all these stocks. And you can even put a random liquidity filter on charting and go through all NSE stocks, or just go through stocks within the 25% of 52-week high with some liquidity filters. Then there are not 1,000 stocks you'll have to study, only 100 200 stocks, and you will get a clear understanding of what to look for. And you now have a clear understanding of what to look for, but you'll have the patience. Yeah, I'll look at Tyrell. See, it was a leader, but right now, just see this fall. It's very different from any fall that it had in the past. Also, it moved below the 200-day, it moved below the 50-day and sustained for a lot of months, 2-3 months. So I am neglecting all this, and I wanted to show it has shown some power, but I wanted to build some build. I wanted to build a base here. अगर यहाँ पे वो 2-4 हफ्ते का base कुछ बनाता है, after this, then we may consider this. But I personally feel that पुराने leaders, they don't lead the next bull run, and we are already in a bear market, so completely new leadership होगी, and I don't think ये leadership होनी चाहिए. for the next run. I'll just quickly recap and then you can ask your queries. Okay. So as of now, we just saw a big downfall. Stocks have bounced from the bottom, but there is no clear structure. This is backed by the data that not many stocks are participating in the up move. Very few stocks are participating because there are no new 52-week highs, and the number of stocks above their 200-day is at a very low level. And this is not a time wherein you will see leaders, breaking out and moving up big. You want this number to be at least 45-50% in order to see clean moves, and you want this kind of an action wherein the structure is clean and cleanly visible on the weekly time frame. You want the structure to not chop around the 50-day moving average or the 10-week moving average. And eventually, the ideal scenario will emerge in a bull market. And it's okay if you miss out. Uh, One stock will not change anything because in any case, you're not putting 100% of your account. You're just putting 10-20%. So it's okay to miss a stock. Eventually, it all averages out and you will find your winner. Then, to study breadth, just three things. First, study stocks above their 50 and 200-day moving average. I'll share the indicator in the group. Then, check the new 52-week high. You can study any bull run. A bull run always has this characteristic because big winners must make new highs. This is a saying by Mark Minervini. Big winners must make new highs, and 52-week high is the way to track it. Then, individual stock action. If a stock breaks out as per your setup or system, just keep it in your watch list and track it for a couple of days if you're sitting in cash. It's a very good exercise to get a feel of the market. You can put into less than 5% of your portfolio in that stock to just get the feel. This is not a trade wherein you'll make money. It's a confidence trade basically. Then tips for scanning: go through the weekly charts on the weekend. A list of stocks within the 25% or 52-week high is sufficient to spot winners. All winners do come in this scanner. Then make a watch list and divide that watch list as per theme, sector. If you see multiple stocks of the same sector in your core watch list, add it to your a list which you will see on a regular day-to-day basis. Then context is much more important than a pattern. A pattern can emerge anywhere, but context is what makes you big money over the long run. You want to see big, smooth movers that move up fast, not stocks like Chambal, Avas, or all the stocks that we see right now. You don't want choppy stocks. If you want to make money using all these strategies of momentum swing trading, you want to get into the stocks which are linear and have momentum, and don't fall into the trap of buying breakouts just because the index is over the 20 EMA, because that is not a sign of good environment. The underlying breadth that individual stocks show you through the individual breakout action, the breadth action through 50 and 200 MA, that tells you how good the environment is. So track that and not just indices over a random moving average. So that was about the session. I hope you learned something. If you have any doubts, I'll take your doubts now. I think Sriram, you had it out. You can ask.
Yes.
Yeah.
Once again, it's an excellent session in terms of the processes that we need to follow. Quite a few things that I learned. This scan that you use of checking at the weekly chart, is it something that you do in the right now in the bear market, or is it that you do it even during the bull market also?
I do it every week in a bear market, in a bull market. It's part of my process. It's part of my weekly routine, weekend routine.
Okay, so it's primarily driven from the weekly chart, and from that you then go into the daily chart, right?
See,
Not the other way around.
On Friday, I run my regular scans, whichever scans that I have, and that is the normal day end routine. But on weekends, that is Saturday or Sunday, I take up this exercise of scanning the entire market. It's a habit that I formed from the initial days, just to understand the underlying strength, because no better way to know what's working, and it's the only way. It's a raw way of charting, I personally feel. So I use this a raw scan of 52-week high and the other scans that we use. So I go through all the watch lists on the weekly frame. So yeah, it's a double exercise. I know it's tedious, but it's working for me. So you can try it out for a couple of weeks and see for yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Can I speak?
Yeah, sure.
Firstly, thanks a lot for this session. I mean, missing a party on Saturday 9 p.m. was completely worth it. I got to learn a lot, especially the way you look at charts. It's actually it trained my eyes in such a way that you can reject more than actually select. Because this is a problem that I was facing. Like I can select a lot of charts, but when it comes to choosing the top two or top three, it actually becomes very difficult. So definitely helped me in that case. So I actually have like two or three questions to ask you. So
Yeah.
I remember you had taken a few trades in force motor and R power. I mean, I'm not sure, maybe in last 10 to 15 days. So I just want to know how you came to those names. Like, did you first, while you were scanning on like the weekends, did you see that the chart was forming well on the daily, on the weekly, sorry, and then you moved down to a lower time frame and saw there was a setup, and then you ultimately entered on that setup?
See, I just to clear this out to everyone, I don't base my decisions from the weekly chart. It is just a way to understand the structures and the broader theme of that stock.
Got
My
it.
decisions of trading a stock is primarily based on the daily frame only. And I didn't get your entire question. I'm assuming you're asking how I buy it here. I didn't get your
Yeah,
question.
so actually during this time, like I also traded a lot of names, but Force Motors was one name. Because of that, like I want to know, how did you come up with this name? Like, was it like on the weekly it was looking nice to you, so you put it in a watch list, and then when you see it set up on the daily, you take an entry, right?
No, see, there was no other stock, cleaner than this stock, because go and
Okay,
see any stock in this phase, you won't see such clean leg. And it
correct,
was
correct. That was
popping up in a few of our proprietary scans. That was another reason. And see, our power maybe SI, if you see, not a very clean looking chart on the daily. But when I saw this, this was trying to, this was kind of a shakeout here, and
okay,
it
okay. Yeah,
was a
true.
shakeout, and it did see some power. And if you see, there's a volume increase here, a clear contrast.
Correct.
Entire base में ऐसा था ही नहीं, so that was another reason to track it. Then yeah, I think primary reason was that I could not see clean looking charts, and these two were the only clean charts as per what I look at. Whatever I told you, that is everything that I applied while I was planning to buy some stocks. So यही qualify कर रहे थे.
Correct, correct. Okay, thank you. And secondly, I wanted to ask this: like, if you're doing this full time, like, how do you actually do you have like made fixed set of rules according to your gain percentage or an average gain that you book into strength? Viewing my past trades and finding out my average gain, like, do you find, like, what would you advise? Like, how do you trail and book into strength? Like, because when, like, in markets like these, it's easier to book gains because they ultimately the stocks are coming back down. So do you stick to different booking methods in different market scenarios, or do you stick to a particular rule that you've made? Because we may never know when we come out of this phase, like, or what if
See,
force motors
Aditya,
means.
I never change my sell rules basis the market environment. This is a very big misconception. Your
Okay,
sell rules only depend on the setup that you're trading. It only depends on that. And sell rules ke liye, what you can do is you can check out the video of progressive exposure. I have shared how I sell into strength. But just to give you a gist so that you save your time, do watch that video. You
I'll
learn a
surely.
lot. But just to give you the summary, I divide my position into 3 or 4 parts, preferably 3 parts,
Okay,
and I try to divide these 3 parts into 3 segments. 3 parts है तो मतलब one third, one third, and one third. So I keep one third for the market, wherein I trail it with the 20 EMA, and this is
okay,
fixed in all market conditions. Another one third I sell into strength. It is usually basis the ATR multiples and the extensions. And
okay,
the first one third, I keep it for myself. That is an emotional sell. Why
okay.
emotional sell? See, even I'm a human and I
Got it.
can take bad decisions. So I have kept a part of my positions for my emotions so that I can stay in that trade without acting out. So this is one reason that helps me stay in a trade, because I have kept that for myself. If I feel it's not right, I'll sell it. If I'm jumpy or if I've overexposed myself, I can sell it for 5-6% also. So it's completely dependent on my emotions. So it keeps my emotions in
Got
check over the longer run, and the rest, one is selling to strength and the other is selling to weakness. So I get the best of all worlds.
got it.
Well,
Got it.
you can just go through the progressive exposure video.
Yeah, I'll check it out for sure.
I've explained it in a much sophisticated way there, but you'll get an idea as to how you can do it.
Okay. Thanks a lot once again for this session. It was extremely helpful. Thank you so much.
Most welcome, most welcome. What is on left side of your chart? That numbers. See, this is the performance tool. The white number shows you the weekly performance from the 5-day low. The pink one shows you the what do you say? The monthly performance. This one shows you the quarterly performance, and the last one, that is the green one, shows you the 6-month performance. It's not available on this trading view. It's a proprietary indicator. Yeah. Anyone else? Do you? Okay. You can drop me a message. We'll take your question then. Okay then. I don't think you all have any other doubts. We'll keep some other session someday. Okay. Chalo. Thank you. Bye.